Hi loves, it's Lacey and welcome to our space. So today's video, I have 4 different DIYs for you guys and a sneak peek into my entry into the Creative Champion contest. So let's get started. First of all, this video is starting off with my first delve into resin. As you can see, I have some silicone molds here, and I'm going to be using amazing casting resin to fill these molds so I can see if I can make some cool resin DIYs. So when you take the resin out of the box, it comes in these 2 containers. It is a 2-part system. You mix them together in order to create resin mold projects. So to put it in the mold so it can harden. So first of all, we are going to be starting out with the silicone mat, the blue mat here on my surface to protect it. And to protect myself, I am going to be using gloves for safety. I also have a mask that I'm going to be wearing on my face. I am also going to have all the windows in my craft space open. I have a ceiling fan going, and I am going to be very, very careful with the fumes because you need a well ventilated area for resin art. Next, I'm going to be mixing my resin in these paper cups. I have heard in the past that people struggled with the type of plastic that they mix resin in, so I'm going to be using paper cups just for that safety. I also have some wooden sticks here that I'm going to be stirring my resin with. It's just your average tongue depressors. And I have some silicone release spray to make sure that my projects come out of these silicone molds. Now, I don't even know if I'm going to use all of these molds, but these molds came in this little packaging here, and I got them from Hobby Lobby, I do believe. They make these little boxes, and so I have a hexagon one, a heart one, and a square, and they all have lids. However, I'm not using the lids as lids. I'm turning them upside down, and I'm just going to make some little flat pieces out of some of the lid pieces. Actually, I don't think I'm going to use all of these. I'm only going to use a few of them because I want them for a specific project. So what we also have here is some resin tint. It will color your resin. I have some foil flakes, and I have some little gold nuggets. I have a lot of resin kind of different accessories, but these are the ones we're going to use for this project. So let's get started. I am going to mix my resin and measure it off camera because it'll just be easier for me. And I'm going to put it in one of the cups, and then I will be right back to show you. So it's equal parts of each, part A and B, and they suggest that you stir it very slowly to get all of it incorporated. And you're going to see swirls of the 2 different halves in it, and they say mix it until the swirls are gone, and then after that you need to still mix for another 3 minutes on this particular resin. Now, if you get a different kind, make sure you follow the directions on your box because they're not all the same. Next, I am going to take some of the purple, because we all know purple is my favorite color, and I'm going to put 1 dot of this color into my resin that I have mixed already here. They say you don't need a lot, so I'm just going to try 1 little drop, and I'm going to mix it up and see what color I get. And if I need to add more, I will, because you can always add more, but you can never take the color away. So now I'm speeding this up, and I'm actually going really, really slow to make sure I don't get a whole bunch of bubbles or anything in it. And I decided to go ahead and put some of the little gold nuggets that I have here inside of the resins. Most of my accessories for the resins, like the gold nuggets and the foil and things like that, all came from either Joann Fabrics or Hobby Lobby. Now I am shaking up my silicone mold release really, really well, like it says on the bottom, and I'm making sure I'm getting it in all the cracks and crevices, and then I'm going to pour that into the molds. I'm scraping down the sides really, really well to make sure that I get all of the little like gold nuggets that I put in there out along with the resin when I pour it. And I really do love this purple color. I'm also using one of the sticks to make sure that I get it in all of the corners. These aren't very deep at all, so I shouldn't have any issue with getting these out or getting them to fill all the way around the edges. Now I'm going to take some of the purple foil flakes, I think that's what they're called, and I'm just going to sprinkle some of those in as well. I looked at it and I thought, hey, this is looking really nice. I don't really know what I'm doing with this, but I like the look of it, and I'm going to go back in and add some more pieces of the little gold nuggets in a second, and you will see that I pour some more resin into the other things. You already saw me pour resin, so you really didn't need to see me pour them again. I actually pulled out some like really light blue of the foil flakes too and put it in the square one. I ended up making more resin for the square one, and I had a little bit of the purple left, so I mixed those together. Now I'm taking my heat gun and I'm trying to get some of the bubbles that I see that have formed in the hexagon one, and I also did that to the other ones as well. Now you can see here, this is the next day. Resin takes about 18 to 24 hours to set up for this particular kit. So this is the next day, and I have pulled out the little heart and the little hexagon, and I even had some resin left over at one point, and I played with some more and made a square. I'm not actually going to be using that little flat square, but I thought it was fun to show you guys anyway. Now I'm just taking out the boxes, which were a little harder to pull out of the forms than the flat pieces, but it came out pretty easily. I do have a few little bubbles in this one, like I said before. I think it was because I mixed the resin up and then let it sit for a second and then mixed it again, and I put more air into it. But this other one here, it came out pretty clean, and I didn't really have any bubbles in it, and I absolutely love the blue fleck in the bottom of it and the color of that resin. So now I'm going to take some of these Dollar Tree butterfly die cuts. If you are an oldie but goodie here, you know I love these. I use them all the time. I take two of matching ones and I back them on each other, so then you wouldn't see the white on the back, and then I cut off any of the excess white that shows on it, and then I'm going to take and bend the butterfly so it looks like it is flying. After that, I always like to take a little bit of gold floral wire and make some antennae for my butterflies. I've done this 100 times. I have tons of butterfly DIYs on my channel. I will link some down below if you want to check out them a little bit later on after we're done with the contest and everything. But I just simply bend it in half, and then on the ends that are loose, I curl them over, and then I tuck it into the middle of the butterfly, and they have antennae. And since these butterflies all have gold on them, I think it's perfect to use gold floral wire. Now I'm gluing this one to the top of my little hexagon box, and I'm setting it up on its side so the front of it is open. I'm going to make another one and put it on a different box, but right now I'm actually taking some floral wire and I'm twisting it around in kind of a coil. I'm making it really tight at the bottom and then really loose at the top. I know it's going kind of fast, but I didn't want you guys to sit here and watch me coil wire. You can see exactly how it kind of looks like a spring that's open more at the top and tighter at the bottom. I'm going to take that and glue it inside that box at the bottom and tilt it up just a little, because we are putting in a air plant. This is a real life air plant, not a fake one. I went to the nursery to look for some stuff for my mother for Mother's Day, and they had 100 air plants, and I thought this would be great to use in these DIY. So I made all these little boxes and things for air plants. You will see how I do the next two. I think they turned out really, really well. So I have some more floral wire here, and I made it a longer piece, and I curled both ends in and did kind of a little coil on them. So it will be easy for me to glue it into this box. I'm gluing it in diagonal, and so that the box will sit up on one of the corners. And as you can see, I'm just holding it there to dry. The only reason I coiled the ends is so it would be easier for it to be glued down. And you won't see that once we get it all put together. Now I'm going to take one of the corners and I'm going to glue it to the middle of our heart so it stands up and it makes a little stand. How cute is that? I absolutely love how this is turning out. I'm going to take another butterfly and I'm going to remove the little extra white pieces and put it together and stick that one, of course, to the top of this little air plant holder, and we have a different air plant that's going to go in there. How cute. I absolutely love that. But this one is going to be my absolute favorite one. I'm just going to take this little disc and I'm going to use some of the thicker floral wire from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to bend it up. I need a really long part to it, and I'm going to take my disc and drill a hole in the top of it. It's really simple. I just used a drill belt that I already had that's about the size of the floral wire, and I'm going to stick that piece into the hole and glue it down with some hot glue. I'm going to twist it around so I get hot glue all the way down in the hole, and as you can see, it's a little hanger there for another air plant. Isn't this just the cutest thing? I absolutely love these. If you don't know what air plants are, they grow in the air. You need no dirt whatsoever for them. They have them all over in the South, in like Texas and stuff, where my niece is. And all you do is you add like a couple drops of water to them now and then. They love to drought and they love to grow just sitting in the air. I really love how these turned out. So, if you did not know, today's video is also, all of our videos are in conjunction with the Creative Championship Season 2 contest that Heidi is hosting over on her channel. She's put together all 9 of us and we are competing to be the Season 2 Creative Champion. So here is a sneak peek of what I made. Can you guess what I used? Yep. It's resin. So if you want to see how I made that, go over to her channel. I will have it linked down below. For DIY number 2, we are going to be utilizing this foam wreath form from Dollar Tree, and I have some cupcake holders, and of course I have more butterflies, the die cut butterflies from Dollar Tree. And as you can see right here, they come in 3 different prints. Well, 2 solids and a print. So I'm going to take them all apart, or most of them apart, and make sure that I only am using one at a time. And then once I get those apart, I'm going to cut up the side of each one and cut out the bottom completely. I used to make these a long time ago. I'm pretty sure if you search on YouTube, you will see a ton of cupcake grease. And I just recently saw someone, and I'm sorry, I don't remember what their name was, on a craft group somewhere that made one. And I said, oh, I could do this again. It's so much fun. So what you're going to do is once you take the bottom out, you're going to wrap it around your wreath form and then glue down the sides of it. And now I always keep one side of mine facing up, and that will be the back of it when you're done, as you can see. And I just am going to alternate the colors of the cupcake holders and go all the way around the wreath form. You can do this with Elmer's glue, or even I've seen people do it with glue sticks in the past, and you can add in different kind of cupcake forms. They have foil ones, they have ones that are different shapes and things like that. I already had these, and so I thought, hey, I'm going to use these. They're purple. They kind of go with my color theme that I'm going for. So we're just going to put these all the way around this wreath form. And then once you've done that, you can decide what you want to do with it. Now you can see I have a gap there, but that doesn't make any difference because you guys know how extra I am. I'm going to be adding some florals to this. At first I was going to actually just make cupcake wreath form flowers, like the cupcake holders, and make flowers out of them and put them on the wreath form. But I knew I had some of these really pretty flowers from Dollar Tree. I don't know what they're called, but they had them this year, and I picked them up not too long ago, so they should still have them in some of the stores. And I'm going to be tucking in some purple ones and some white ones, and of course I have to put on some butterflies. And then this project's basically going to be done. That's how easy it is, and it makes like a really cute impact. You can add like anything to this. You can put something in the middle of it, add a little birdhouse, put a bird on it if you want instead of butterflies. I just think it's really, really cute, and I think you could do this with your kids. For project number 3, we're going to be utilizing this wreath that I picked up from the Target dollar spot earlier this year. I really, really loved the color on it. I mean, the back of the leaves are a lighter green and the front is a darker green, and I think they're really, really pretty. I also have 2 sets of these bigger butterflies. They came from the same die cut set that from Dollar Tree. Now you'll only get 2 in 1 pack. So this is 2 packs of these really big ones. I'm going to back them so they look like a butterfly on both sides and cut off the extra white like I did all the other ones. And of course, I'm going to make some antennae for it too. But we're going to do 2 sets of these. So I'm going to put both of those together so they can dry really quickly. And then I have these really pretty purple flowers that match the center of these butterflies that also came from Dollar Tree. I'm going to be using those all over this really pretty green wreath. You could do this whole project from Dollar Tree. Basically, you can get some greenery because they have really nice greenery right now and make your own wreath. But since I already had this one, I thought I'd go ahead and utilize it for this DIY. So I'm just going to take them completely off their stems and I'm going to tuck them in all over this and make it super full. Now, all of these flowers that you see right here came off of 1 stem. That's how many of these was on the stem. They're the longer stems that you can get that are set aside normally at the Dollar Tree. And I absolutely love these. So let's just fill it up really, really nice and full. And then I'll show you what we're going to do to it next. Okay, now I'm going to take some fishing line. This is kind of heavy duty fishing line. It's not very expensive. I think it was $6 for all of this. I pulled off about 2 feet of a section and I did that twice. I bent them in half and then I made a slip knot in the middle of it. So I have 2 pieces that are 2 feet long, and I put them together, bent them in half, and then made a slip knot in the middle of them. So now I have 4 sections hanging down. Now what I'm going to do is separate them and take one of the sections that's in the middle and glue it to the middle of the butterfly, making sure that the end is inside of where the butterfly is. It doesn't hang beneath it, where it's going to be from the top down, or up, not down. It's going to be from the top down into the butterfly, but not hang beneath it. Then I put the antennae in between and glued it down. And now I'm taking the second butterfly and I'm bending it in half to make it look like it's flying. And I'm going to glue it to the back of this butterfly. See? So sandwiched in between the 2 is 1 piece of the fishing line. And then the antennae, and that makes 1 double butterfly. I hope you guys understand that. I'm going to tuck that through the wreath form, but not until after I take the other 3 sections of that fishing line. Remember, we had 4 pieces hanging down. So 1 is in between these 2 butterflies, and I'm just making sure that they stick together real well. I'm using a high heat glue gun, so it takes a second to dry, and I'm gonna bend it out to make sure that, you know, it stays like it's gonna fly, and squish it all the way down so it'll stand here, and you'll see that I'm gonna set it down. Now that is the only thing attached to the fishing line at this moment. So right now I'm kind of off camera, but I am separating the other 3 pieces of fishing line and making sure they're not twisted all up. I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to feed it in through the top of the wreath and go around the wreath form and come up through the bottom. I'm turning it over and I'm going to tie it to itself in a double knot. And after I get the double knot, I'm going to put a dot of hot glue on it. So now I have one of the other 3 attached to the wreath form. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2, and I'm going to space them out evenly around it. I'm making a hanger to hang the wreath from. And once the hanger is done on the wreath, I'm going to slide the butterfly through the top and down through the hole. I hope you guys understand that. You can see what I mean here because now it's done and it's hanging. The butterfly hangs underneath the wreath form with that one piece of fishing line, and it's really pretty. It'll turn and twist on its own, though it's kind of stationary, so you guys can see what I mean. And the wreath form is hanging right now from fishing line at the top as its hanger. You could use some chain or some rope, but I just thought it was whimsical and so sweet, being like it's just floating in air carrying a butterfly with it. And that is it for this DIY. It was simple and easy, and I think it's stunning. So for our last DIY, we are going to be utilizing some burlap. It is a big sheet of burlap from Walmart. They have it in their wedding section. I've had this one forever. They still carry it. One of the wire baskets from Dollar Tree. One of these floral garden hooks that has the butterflies in the galvanized metal from Dollar Tree. And some green ribbon. I also am going to be using some florals and a bird from Dollar Tree as well. And also a white candle stand from Dollar Tree and a clear glass candle holder. So, as you can see, I'm taking some scissors to this because I want to fray it. It has stitching on the sides of it, and so I'm just cutting the stitching off and then fraying a whole bunch of pieces because I think it looks pretty. And I'm going to be tucking it all the way down inside this wire basket. I need something to hold a plant, and this is what I'm making is my own little, like, a gift planter. So I'm just tucking it all in and pushing it way down in there. I'm going to pull some of it back out and make it go around. I'm just trying to get it in there enough so I can cut off some of this green ribbon. I'm not sure where I got that from. It's probably like Joann's or Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to make a simple bow and tie it on the side. I like that it's sheer. I like that it's kind of flimsy, and so it looks a little whimsical. And then I'm just going to pull the sides down of the burlap all the way around with the frayed edges, and I think that makes it look really, really pretty. Then I'm going to take this glass candle stand from Dollar Tree, a candle holder, and push it down so it has a nice flat bottom and it holds the burlap down. Then I'm going to wiggle off this garden hook thing and take off the front part of the butterfly. It's just on there with some little kind of pieces of metal wrapped around it. I'm going to take some Waverly White chalk paint and I'm going to paint the purple butterfly. I know, I love purple, and normally I would have left it, but I really don't care for the paint job on these, so I decided I was going to paint it white with Waverly chalk paint and let that dry. And I'm going to do the front and the back just in case, you know, I want to bend it out a little more. I'm not quite sure, but now that it's dry, we're going to put that back on to the galvanized part because I really like that, and hook it back on there. It just slides into some holes on the back, and then you push the metal parts back down. And then I'm going to take one of these Dollar Tree stickers that's purple, and it has a little bit of pinky purple, like fuchsia almost, in it, and glue it to the center. After that, I'm going to take that and stick it through the burlap and the ribbon and put it on the side of our basket. And unfortunately, I'm so sorry, but my footage where I put the bird, that's from Dollar Tree also, it comes in a little bag in the store, and the extra greenery that I had in my stash, most of it from Dollar Tree, on the bottom of the candlestick. It's just a simple white candlestick that Dollar Tree carries all the time. They are ceramic. And I have this beautiful dahlia that I picked up for my mother for Mother's Day, and I put it in on top of it. So this was a super simple and easy planter on a stand DIY. So that is it for this DIY and this entire video. Remember, check the links down below so you can go over and see the video for the contest. Heidi will let you guys know exactly what you need to do to vote for your favorite project. And after all of that, come back to this channel so you can check out the hot link that I have down below. You're gonna want to check out all of the amazing DIYs all of the other ladies have for you. So I will catch you guys in my next video. And if you are not a subscriber here yet, make sure you go hit that subscribe button so you can see what I will have for you next time. Bye, loves.